You're sitting on the couch after one of those days, the kind where your jaw's tight and you don't even notice. You're scrolling your phone, breathing shallow, and if someone asked how you were, you'd say, fine, without looking up. But across the room, your dog hasn't settled. It's been 20 minutes, and they keep doing this thing, a quick glance at you, maybe 2 seconds, then away. Another glance, then away. You assume they want dinner. They don't want dinner. What they're doing is called a welfare check. And right now, you keep failing it. Dogs perform 12 to 20 of these micro glances per hour when monitoring someone they're bonded to. They're not sensing your vibe. They're running a chemical and visual scan of your emotional state with equipment that makes anything in your medicine cabinet look primitive. A 2022 study out of Queen's University Belfast had dogs identify human stress sweat with 93.75% accuracy across 720 trials. 300 million olfactory receptors versus your 6 million. Their olfactory bulb takes up 12.5% of their brain mass. Yours takes up 1/100%. This isn't a vague impression, it's a real-time chemical portrait that updates with every breath you take, and they can't override it. Dogs have a vomeronasal organ that sends pheromonal data directly to the limbic system, the emotional processing center, bypassing conscious thought entirely. Your stress doesn't knock on the door. It walks straight into the room where their fear and attachment responses live. A cross-modal study at the University of Lincoln found that confusion behaviors spike 4 times higher when a happy face is paired with an angry voice. Every contradiction costs them cognitive resources. A cardiac study from the University of Bury showed dogs' heart rates spike 30 beats per minute during owner arguments in a separate room. Lowering your voice while keeping it tense doesn't fool them. There's one thing your dog wants from you at the very end of every single day, something that takes 60 seconds, and when you understand what it does to their brain, it'll change the last thing you do before bed tonight. We'll get there. But first you need to understand everything leading up to it. When those welfare check glances go unacknowledged for 2 weeks, researchers at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences found that a dog's baseline cortisol rises, not during stress, at rest. And a 2020 paper in Scientific Reports showed that long-term cortisol profiles in dogs mirror their owners over 6-month periods. Your dog's nervous system isn't just reading yours, it's copying it, which means the performance of calm doesn't work. The shift from cortisol to oxytocin dominance changes your scent profile, and they detect that change within 2 minutes. What works is 60 seconds of genuine self-regulation before any meaningful interaction. Researchers at the Hungarian Academy of Sciences found that when owners breathed at 6 breaths per minute, their dog's heart rate variability synchronized within 90 seconds, even without physical contact. But even genuine calm isn't enough. Your dog wants you to meet them where they are first. Ethologists studying free-ranging dogs across India, Romania, and Mexico observed that in 94% of social interactions, one dog matches the other's arousal before attempting to change it. Mirror neurons in the canine prefrontal cortex fire during match states and drop amygdala activation by 35%. The matching window is 15 to 20 seconds. Beyond 30, prolonged high energy reads as confirmation, not empathy. Cortisol clearance after matched then redirected greetings is 62% faster than after forced calm greetings, and dogs subjected to repeated forced calming develop a conditioned frustration response within 6 to 8 weeks. The word calm becomes an arousal trigger, so your dog reads your feelings with frightening precision and wants you to meet their energy before shifting it. But there's a physical version of this same problem happening every time you reach out and touch them. Research from the ASPCA's Behavioral Rehabilitation Center found that even affection-seeking dogs only want touch about 60% of the times humans offer it. The other 40% is appeasement, tolerating contact to avoid social conflict. The 3-second consent test changes this almost immediately. Pet for 3 seconds, remove your hand, wait 2. If the dog nudges or leans, you're invited. If they do nothing or turn away, that's a polite decline. Stillness isn't contentment, it's resignation. Dogs given this protocol become paradoxically more affectionate within days once they realize all touch is opt-in. And once that trust is there, certain places genuinely need attention. The axillary region, where the front legs meet the chest, is the most undertouched area on the domestic dog. They physically cannot reach it. UC Davis found that daily 2-minute chest massages reduced cortisol and increased approach behavior with strangers. The ear base has one of the highest nerve ending concentrations on their body with direct vagus nerve connectivity. Slow pressure there lowers heart rate 10 to 15 beats per minute within 60 seconds. But there's a form of contact deeper than any touch that doesn't involve your hands at all. In 2015, Nagasawa and colleagues published a study in Science showing that mutual gaze triggers 130% oxytocin increase in owners and 300% in dogs, the same hormonal loop bonding human mothers to infants. The optimal window is 10 to 15 seconds. Under 5 doesn't cross the threshold. Over 20 triggers evaluative discomfort. At the University of Helsinki, dogs whose owners practice 3 to 4 silent gaze moments daily for 6 weeks showed significant improvements in recall, leash reactivity, and stranger tolerance, none of which had been trained. Baseline anxiety had simply dropped enough for latent learning to surface. The average owner talks to their dog over 30 times per hour. Virtually none include deliberate silence. Wordless connection is neurologically restorative, so you can calm them with your breath, reach them with your hands, hold them with your eyes. But there's something your dog is missing that none of this gives them, something modern pet life has almost completely taken away. How many genuine decisions did your dog make today? A real choice where the outcome changed based on what they chose. For most pet dogs, the answer is 0. Researchers at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences demonstrated that total absence of agency measurably impairs problem-solving capacity over time. Meanwhile, an accidental military discovery found that imperfectly trained dogs, whose handlers occasionally let disobedience slide, outperformed perfectly obedient dogs on novel problem-solving by 28% and showed stronger handler attachment. Dogs who chose their own toy played with it 2.1 times longer. Dogs choosing their walking route engaged in 45% more exploratory sniffing. GPS data from Yellowstone wolf packs shows even the lowest-ranking member initiates direction changes 35 to 40% of the time. The average pet dog lives under more restrictive control than the bottom of a wild pack hierarchy. And when an understimulated brain gets a real challenge, the effect is staggering. The Family Dog Project at Utversloran University found that dogs playing daily food hiding games retained cognitive function nearly 3 years longer than controls. Scattering regular kibble across the floor converts a 30-second bowl inhalation into 15 to 20 minutes of foraging, engaging more cortical area than a typical 30-minute leashed walk. The seeking itself is what the brain was built for. Beyond puzzles, there's purpose. Search and rescue dogs show lower baseline cortisol than pet dogs, despite explosions and 14-hour days. The difference is having a role their handler depends on. When retired military dogs received simple task assignments, behavioral issues resolved in 73% of cases within 8 weeks, outperforming exercise, medication, and desensitization. And when owners simply acknowledged their dog's alert bark, "Thank you, I see it," instead of shutting it down, escalation barking dropped 60% in 4 weeks. The dog didn't need you to fix the threat. They needed you to hear the report. There's one more dimension nobody talks about. Your dog doesn't need more socialization. A 2022 paper in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that 73% of dog-human conflict in public stems from forced social interactions. Dogs watching other dogs from 10+ meters showed steady heart rates and increased oxytocin. Forced greetings within 2 meters triggered elevated cortisol regardless of friendliness. The fastest trust-building intervention in canine behavioral science is body blocking, physically stepping between your dog and an approaching stranger. Dogs whose owners consistently advocate for their space show measurable reductions in leash reactivity within weeks. And a Monash University study found that dogs whose owners displayed embarrassment during reactive episodes showed 30% longer cortisol elevation. Your shame travels down the leash at the exact moment they most need backup. Honor the retreat. Safety creates courage, not the other way around. And now we're here. The thing I told you about at the beginning, everything up to this point has been about something you do. This is about what happens when you stop. Dogs need 12 to 14 hours of sleep. Without a clear wind-down signal, the transition from alert mode to rest mode takes 3 to 4 times longer, fragmenting early sleep architecture. During REM, the twitching pause, the muffled running sounds, everything learned that day transfers from short-term to long-term storage. Waking them during those moments literally interrupts learning. A 2019 study at the University of British Columbia found that an unwashed owner's shirt in the dog's bed reduced nighttime cortisol by 18%. Your scent is the olfactory equivalent of lying beside them. A consistent bedtime ritual, the same quiet word, the same gentle chest touch, the same 60 seconds on the floor, creates a conditioned parasympathetic trigger. Within 2 weeks, the ritual alone initiates measurable heart rate deceleration before the dog reaches their bed. And here's the part that stops me every time. When you sit beside your dog and feel genuine gratitude, not performed, just felt, your body releases a specific ratio of oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin that changes your scent profile. Brain imaging shows this activates their default mode network, the region associated with self-awareness, memory, and identity. That final quiet moment isn't just the end of a day, it's the chemical foundation of who your dog believes they are. Your dog has been asking for these things in the only language they have: a glance, a lean, a sigh, a pause at the door. Most of it costs you nothing: a breath before you walk in, a hand removed and offered again, 3 seconds of silence while you look at each other. The relationship doesn't change when you learn something new about dogs. It changes when you slow down enough to notice what was already there. Tonight, when the house is quiet, sit on the floor next to them. Don't say anything, just breathe. They'll know. If there's one thing you're going to start doing tonight, or one thing you realize you've been doing all along, drop it in the comments. And if you're watching this missing a dog who already knew all of it, who did the welfare checks and the soft gaze and the lean against your leg when the day was too much, they knew. They always knew. I'll see you in the next one.